with Alfano on Awesome Vegans. This is my home, and I have the fabulous Jess Carter. I always want to say Chef Jess Carter, and it's a little bit of a tongue twister.
It is.
It's a little bit of a tongue twister. So Chef Jess is with Compassion Over Killing, which I love, and she is here to make us a very wonderful summer salad,
yes,
which is hearty. You can sort of see all the food that we have here. So we've got beans and mushrooms and seeds and fruit and lettuce, of course, and zucchini and cucumbers and peppers. So we got lots of good stuff. And she's here with all of her vegan tips. I know I have some girlfriends out there who've been saying, how do I go vegan? How do I go vegan? Oh, baby, stick with us. We are going to tell you. So give us a lowdown. What are we making? Well, what are you making today? And what are our ingredients?
Yes, what I'm making for us today is an Asian-inspired veggie noodle salad. So as you mentioned, there are lots of ingredients, lots of colors, because it's going to give us a wide variety of nutrients. Eat the rainbow for nutrition. That's what I always like to do. So we're going to be making a sweet and sour kind of plums, apricot, and ginger sauce for the dressing. We're going to have some marinated mushrooms that will be savory. And then we have protein from things like pumpkin seeds and edamame. So it's texture, flavor, color, it's everything. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
So I love this. I always love to combine savory and sweet. For me, that makes the dish really interesting. And it's a complex combination that then I feel really satisfied.
And there's also lots of fiber and a lot of protein in this dish too. So it's going to be satiating, but you're not going to feel stuffed or tired after you eat it. Yeah,
that's fantastic. That's fantastic, because I'm about to go to a workout about 2 hours right after this demo. So looks like I can do it when I eat all this good kind of stuff. So when you've got, so I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, oh my gosh, 11 ingredients. So you've kind of thought this out ahead of time.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the nice thing about this salad is at the base, it's going to be spiralized zucchinis. And so that's what's going to be making it a noodle salad. And then from there, you can improvise totally for what you want it to be. You can go Italian and use a pesto.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can use carrots and do a carrot ginger dressing. You can add lentils instead of edamame. One of my favorite hacks, actually, when I'm feeling lazy but want lots of veggies, is I'll do like my base, like my lettuce or my spiralized zucchini, and then I'll take a packaged coleslaw mix and throw that in.
Wow.
So you get a lot of color, flavor, texture, and you just need one product, and it's super simple. So I'm going all out because I want to impress you all here, and I want to impress you, Elizabeth. But this can be as simple or as creative as you want it to be.
So I just want to mention, I'm standing in front of a spiralizer. Is this something that everybody needs to get, or could you just kind of wing it on your own?
I mean, there are ways to get noodles from vegetables without using a spiralizer. You can use a julienne. That's kind of dangerous though. I usually hurt myself. It's like a big flat thing that chefs use, and it gets vegetables super thin.
Yeah, okay.
Those terrify me.
All right. So,
but you can also use like a vegetable peeler. That takes a little bit longer, but you'll get more of a linguine style noodle if you use that. And I love it. That's what I used to do before I ever knew a spiralizer existed.
Okay, so I think spiralizers are, we bought this a super long time ago. So Amazon, our friend, Amazon, I want to say it was like $39 or something, but a peeler is like $1.99.
Exactly.
So there ain't no reason that you cannot make this dish at home.
Yes.
And before we get started, I just want to say, can I eat as we go?
Oh, for sure.
Am I allowed? Okay, so I like edamame. I just wanted to have a couple of these because they look so good and they're so green and fresh. All right, so take us to our first step. How do we get started?
Sure, so first off, we're gonna start by making marinated mushrooms, and this is so simple. So I have some brown porcini mushrooms here. This is 8 ounces sliced, but you can use any variety of mushroom that you like. And so what I'm gonna do is season it with some sesame oil, some tamari sauce, and some Chinese five spice. That's it. Now, you can do this as little as 10 minutes in advance, but you can also do this overnight and get it really marinated and saturated with flavor. But I love sesame oil. It gives things a toasty, nutty flavor, and it really just enhances the flavor of the dish. So I'm going to use a teaspoon of sesame oil. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of the five spice. I'm just going to eyeball it though. And five spice is awesome because it's so flavorful. It's rich. It has clove and anise and cumin and delicious spices that really add some depth of flavor to the dish. And then tamari, I really like tamari because it's gluten-free. If that matters to you, that's good to know that tamari is gluten-free. But also, I think it has a more intense flavor. You know, soy sauce gives things depth of flavor. If you're looking for a meatier flavor, savory flavor, add soy sauce to what you're cooking. I add it to my mushrooms often, and it's really nice. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon. I'm going to actually use a teaspoon, but I'm going to do like 3 of these.
So this is why I like to have a professional in the kitchen. I'd never heard of tamari sauce before.
It's lovely, and you can kind of smell it. I'll let you smell it. I like to smell as I go.
How does it differ from soy exactly?
It's just more a deeper flavor. It's just a slightly deeper flavor.
You know, drug addicts that we are. Let me sniff. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's like soy, but I want to say not a burned soy, but like a wood-fired soy.
Yeah, it's a little bit more aged, I think, but it's lovely. So I'm just mixing this around now to get everything evenly coated, and then I'm just going to set it aside. And it doesn't look like a lot, but honestly, it does not take much because as you put the salt on the mushrooms, the liquids are going to release and more juice is going to just form on its own. So
did you hear that? So I'd never heard that before. If you salt mushrooms, the liquid from mushrooms release?
Yeah.
I did not know
That's most vegetables. So sometimes if you're doing cooking techniques, like if you want to do something with eggplant, the chef will sprinkle salt all over it and let it sit for like an hour, and then they'll squeeze it out and the extra moisture will be released. So in our case, it works well because it just adds another kind of dressing to the dish. So it's all flavor. We don't strain anything. And I don't think when you make marinades, you really need to use as much as sometimes people recommend. I think that it's more of a patience game and knowing which flavors you're working with. You don't really need as much. And like with this, once again, I really don't usually add too much oil when I'm cooking. So just a teaspoon of sesame oil. It's very rich and it's going to go a great way. So I'm going to sit this here. Okay, so next up, we're going to have a little fun with the spiralizer.
All right, I'll get out of your way. Here, I'll let you do your work, your magic.
So
I'm moving over here.
Okay, great. So with the spiralizer, it goes back pretty far, but I find I get the best results when I take a large zucchini and cut it in half. And you want to try to get it level. So that helps it just to go on easier, and you cut the ends off each side too. So just cut them off level. And then we start by centering it on the metal piece in the middle, and then we put the prongs in, make sure it's secure. And then I think there's I think it's suction to the tabletop. And then we crank. Now sometimes I have a little bit of issue with these things because I'm left-handed. So my instinct is to crank the other direction, but once you get it going, you see the noodles are forming.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I love zucchini noodles. I feed them to everybody. Like, you haven't had zucchini noodles yet? Wait. Oh, you're gonna love them. Just let me show you. Let me show you the ways of the zucchini noodle.
So I do have to say that zucchini is one of my very favorite things, and I never get a chance to eat it. I put it raw. I like raw zucchini. Well, like what this is going to be. So I sort of nibble on it raw, and I also dip it in things. But people don't eat a lot of zucchini, and I love zucchini.
Yeah, I think it's underutilized, and I think that it tastes so good when it's prepared simply. So one of my favorite things to do with zucchini in the summer is just put it on the grill. In the winter, I like to broil it. It's so tasty with a little bit of char on it.
Yeah.
It's lovely. So, yes, use the zucchini. Don't let the zucchini go to waste, especially in the summer. It's in season now, and it's going to be really expensive. So, take advantage of the zucchini in your market. Here we go. We got a good one rolling now.
So I'll just say while she's doing this is one of the great things that I love about being vegan is that when I was eating meat and cheese, for lack of a better expression, I was addicted to those things. So I was always eating the same thing. And I thought, well, what am I going to eat as a vegan? And then once I became vegan and I was like, oh my gosh, there's zucchinis, which I had ignored. There's eggplant, which I had ignored. There's sweet potatoes, which I had ignored. I realized like, oh, actually, when I was on meat and dairy, that's when I didn't have food choices because I was kind of addicted to the same old, same old. Here I have so many choices. Like, look at what we've got here.
Okay. And so actually...
Do you want another bowl?
Actually, I'm going to put these straight in. So here we have a bit of kale salad, and so this is a part of our base for our salad. So I'm just going to put the zucchini noodles right in with those as we get them processed. So you see how many noodles this creates. This is just about one zucchini, not even a full zucchini yet, and it creates so much. So you don't really need the extra vegetables. Honestly, you could just do the zucchini noodles and you'd be very full just from that. But we have a party going on in here, so we got to make a lot.
We have a party. That's what's going on in my house. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I never use recipes because I just like the creativity in the kitchen, and it's a stress releaser for me. So I don't want to feel like it's my job and I got to follow the directions. I want to feel like, I'm just making whatever I see in the fridge and whatever feels good. So I know here you've really kind of thought it out. So you've got zucchini and cucumber, and do you need specific amounts, or can you just kind of like say, I got half a zucchini left in the fridge, I got a cucumber over here, just make it work?
So I develop recipes in my role at Compassion Over Killing, But prior to being this role, I did not use recipes either. So it's been a practice in actually making up recipes, but it's all improvisational. You know the foods you like, you know what you like. So like follow what you love, follow the healthy foods you love. You're gonna be excited to eat what you're eating, you know. I oftentimes, even when I do try to follow a recipe, I end up adjusting the spice levels.
Of course.
Because it's like, oh, I like garlic more. There's not enough garlic in here. Or that's a little too much salt for me. Let me take that down. So feel free to, you know, take control of your kitchen. Like the goal of a recipe is to inspire you to make a dish that you're going to want to eat and enjoy. So, I mean, if it's not exactly according to each line, like, don't feel bound by that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I also like to make different things all the time, so I don't want to eat the same stuff. So I always like to make adjustments to whatever is my standard recipe because I want it to be different all the time.
Yeah, and I have my favorite go-tos for sure. As you might have been able to tell by me talking, I love zucchini noodles. But like cucumber and cauliflower, I love cauliflower so much because there's so many things that you can do with it. And so one thing that I've loved about vegan eating is that all the flavors that I loved before I went vegan are still available to me. You know, you can be a little bit of creative to find textures that you really enjoy, but in terms of flavor, you don't have to let go of any flavors.
That's so true.
You can replicate any flavor in a vegan dish.
Pretty easily, actually, too. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I think we've spiralized enough cucumber and zucchini here.
Okay.
I like to add cucumber because it's really hydrating. It adds some brightness and some freshness, and it's crisp. So this is a nice little accent to the zucchini noodles and this beautiful pile we've got right here.
That's so beautiful. The 3 different shades of green. I love that with the dark kale and then the 2-tone greens of the zucchini and the cucumber.
Yeah.
Super pretty.
Yeah. So next up, we can move along to making our dressing. So speaking of improvisation, this dressing is something I kind of just made up on my way here because I had a lot of plums left over. And I know that plum, like I've heard of plum sauce in Asian cooking, and so I thought plums would make a nice sauce. And they're tart right now and they're also juicy, and I had some clementines as well. So we're going to make a plum and clementine ginger sauce for our dressing. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be delicious.
Okay, so the only thing I want to add to that is here's another great thing about loving up on all your fruits and veggies that maybe you might have missed had you been only like meat and dairy focused, is that that fruit that's about to go bad, Chef Jess just said you can put it in your salad dressing.
You sure can.
So if something's starting to get bruised and maybe it's looking a bit like shady, don't throw it out. There's still good stuff to be had there.
Absolutely. And actually I'm going to do something interesting too, is I have this piece of zucchini left. And zucchini actually adds creaminess to sauces. So I'm going to actually throw this whole chunk in with our dressing too to give it a little bit of creaminess. And you can eat
Okay,
we eat as we go.
I was going to eat and then you're like, I need that for my dressing.
No. We eat as we go here. Feel free. So.
Should I get you the blender?
Yes, please.
All right. I'm making myself useful. Okay, this is a sort of high-powered blender.
Okay.
When you put this back on, it needs to align.
Okay. That makes sense. All right, so I'm going to start off by putting our sauces at the bottom. So this is 3 clementines that I've just peeled, and I'm going to put in segments.
And you don't worry about seeds?
No, and these actually usually don't have seeds in them either. And then for the plums, I actually quartered them and then pulled the seeds out the middle. So this is also 3 small plums.
Awesome.
So you can use a little less if you have larger oranges or larger plums. But
I love that fresh fruit becomes your dressing because one of the things that I don't like often about having a salad is like if I'm going to somebody's house and they're like, oh, we'll just give her salad because she's a vegan, and then they'll go in the fridge and they'll pull out the god-awful bottle of like, the thing that has 100 ingredients in it, and you just think like, forget it, I'll have lemon and salt.
Yeah.
It'll do.
Yeah, it's almost undoing the good of the salad when you put that on it with all the preservatives and all the salt and stuff. So I'm going to use half of a lime. I'm just going to hold my hand here to try to catch the seeds as we go.
Oh, I always let the seeds fall in.
Really?
Good thinking. Wow. Okay.
There we go. Got most of the seeds. That'll add a little tanginess. I'm just going to do half a lemon to start because, like I said, our plums are pretty tart.
I'll get you something or other here.
Thank you.
Here,
so
if
much.
you want to.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure thing. If you need, here you are.
Okay. So, you know what? here's a piece of cucumber. I'll throw that in too.
Awesome.
It can all go into the dressing. So
Awesome.
Here we have about 1.5 inches of peeled ginger. So that's going to go in. Ginger has a nice sweet heat to it.
I love that. Did you see that chunk of ginger?
Yes.
That's a huge chunk of ginger.
That's another thing about me is, I mean, I will come up with complex flavors, but if the preparation is too complex, it's too much work. So like, let's do minimal work. We have technology.
Oh,
let's let technology do the work. That was
garlic.
3 cloves of garlic.
Did you see that? Okay, and the great thing about that, she did not chop that.
No.
So you just made that super simple.
Yes.
Peel it and move on.
Yep. And then we're going to do about another tablespoon of the tamari, maybe just under a tablespoon. Once again, it'll give us the salt, some savoriness, so it'll give some nice balance to this. This is a sweet, sour, savory. We're going for umami. Umami is a flavor in Japanese cooking, I think, where it combines sweet, salty, bitter, sour, savory. All these spices and flavors come together, so you have like the perfect balance of like bliss in your mouth when you're eating.
Bliss in your mouth. I love this, that we are using garlic and fruit together.
Yes.
This is awesome.
And then that was about 1/2 teaspoon of sesame oil. So let's get this locked and loaded correctly. All right, let's see. And if you want to come take a look at this, I actually did not add any extra liquid to this, but because it's so juicy, it created a nice consistency. So it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, but can you smell it?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. It really is sweet and savory. Even just by smelling it, you can tell that. It's wonderful.
And then if we have actually we'll use the end of this spoon and we'll just give it a little taste test to see if our amounts are correct, because we can make adjustments. That's the other thing about cooking is taste as you go and make adjustments. It's very tart, so you let me know what you think. I think it could use like a little sugar or agave or something, just a hint. But I love the kick of that ginger. It's getting me in the throat.
Yeah, I really like that. I know what you mean. Just a tad bit of agave.
Yeah.
I don't have any agave. I have maple syrup.
Okay.
Really? Not too? Okay.
Yeah, that worked
Let me
perfectly.
go to the fridge.
Off to the fridge. Improvising.
Please, God, let me have maple syrup. Wait. Here it is.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, that's good.
I got a lot of maple syrup, just in case you were wondering.
If you need maple syrup, come to Elizabeth's house.
Okay, what do I do?
All right, let's do about a tablespoon.
All right. So I love maple syrup because of the woodiness to it. And it's a quintessential American thing, which I really think is kind of fun. You know, you can't go anywhere else in the world and get maple syrup. It's right here, which I always think is super fun.
Thank you. Alrighty, so.
Here being Vermont, not California.
All right, so here we go. Click. All right, and we didn't have to process that long because it was good to go.
You want another tasting spoon?
Yes, please.
Right, here. Well, I'll find it. I'll find it.
So while she finds a spoon for us, I'm going to start adding the rest of our ingredients to the salad. So I have some diced bell pepper. And actually, Elizabeth, if you want to add in the scallions.
I'll do it. I will do it. So this is really fun for me because this is when it gets really pretty because we're adding in all these colors. So more pepper, which is so lovely. See this beautiful yellow coming around. I do have to say, working with vegetables is like working with art. It's really exciting visually. Can I throw the rest in? Or?
Please do. Everything goes in.
Yeah. Oh, this is just beautiful. We're making a huge salad. I
Yes.
wish you all were here
I
because we
know.
have enough to feed everybody.
Vegan food is for sharing.
Vegan food is for sharing. Oh my word. Come to my house, Venice, California.
So now I'm going to use our tongs and do a dry toss really quickly just to get things moving in here. And then once we get this dressed, it's really going to come together because once again, there's some sugar, there's some salt in the dressing. So once again, the water will start to release from the fresh vegetables we have here, and so it'll get that much more juicy, intermingled, you know, savory goodness. So that's a good start. I'm going to take our dressing and we're going to pour it all on.
Whoa! With the blender itself.
This is live cooking.
We needed a little bit of a mess, to tell you the truth, because we were way too clean for a cooking show.
Okay, and then I'm going to pour in our edamame beans. Move some stuff out of the way a little bit. Okay.
Oh, I love it. Got in that beautiful raspberry color from the plums.
Yes, beautiful. So vibrant, and you know, the
Yes.
deeper and richer color is, that means there's antioxidants in there, so
Right.
lots of vitamins, nutrients, vegetables. So good. Eat color. Like, color is a good indication that you're eating healthy, especially when it's natural color. We're not talking about artificial ingredients, artificial colors.
Red dye number 5.
Exactly.
No.
Stay away from that. Get your red from your beets and your plums
Yes.
and your cherries. I just had some amazing cherries. I'm so happy cherries are back in
It
season.
is cherry season. I'm all over it.
You can
One of
make a
my very favorite
delicious
fruits.
cherry vinaigrette too.
Oh.
That would be lovely.
Awesome idea. Yeah, so I got that today, that you can make a fruit salad dressing. Had never really thought of it before, so that's awesome.
Okay, so here we are. Got a nicely mixed salad, and now we're gonna get it pretty with some more ingredients, because you could just stop here. You could have stopped 2 ingredients ago, 5
Right.
ingredients ago.
But we're not gonna.
We're going all out. So we've got some pumpkin seeds here. These are raw pumpkin seeds because this is a raw salad, but you could use roasted if you like.
We're gonna be so full when we eat this. Like,
We need like giant.
totally. Like, anybody who says vegans have nothing to eat, I just don't know what they're thinking.
Okay, and then I'll garnish with a few more of these edamame beans for some extra brightness. And then we're gonna just surround the bowl on the perimeter with these lovely marinated mushrooms, and
Yeah.
give these a smell.
Oh yeah. Oh okay.
Oh, are you going to taste?
Well, you're singing my song, because mushrooms are my food. I live for mushrooms. Such a good flavor with that marinade, really bringing out the taste of the mushrooms.
And once again, the longer you let it sit, the more entrenched it becomes, and the,
Yeah.
mushrooms begin to soften a little bit
Sure.
too. So, you know, it goes from being, you know, like a raw, more vegetable-y texture to something
Yeah.
a little bit more meaty, because, you know, when mushrooms are cooked, they have a kind of a meaty, fleshy texture. So,
I know. I make portobello mushroom burgers all the time. And usually what I do, I'll get your opinion on this. Usually I put soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce
Oh.
in a plastic bag. And then I put the portobello mushroom in, usually 2, and I Ziploc it. And I mush it around, I let it sit overnight in the fridge, and then I take it out the next day and I grill it.
that sounds delicious.
It's so good.
And it's so simple.
So simple. But now I'm going to try the tamari soy instead.
Yes, tamari's lovely. And also liquid aminos are really, really nice. Have you ever had those before?
I have not.
They're usually made by a company called Bragg's, but it's just
yes.
another soy. It's like, I don't know, the aging process is different somehow, but it's marketed as a health food.
Yeah.
I don't know why,
All
but
right.
it's delicious.
All right.
It's really, really good.
I'll go with taste. Taste is what drives me, people.
And so this is completely optional, but we happen to see some edible flowers.
Oh, so beautiful.
So bring out the colors even more.
Oh my word.
We
So
can eat
beautiful.
beautifully, nourish ourselves, feel lovely. It's like a form of self-care to
Yes.
eat this well also.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. And then you don't have to feel like really, you know, if you have a huge meal that has lots of animal fats in it, you leave that meal and you're like, oh, I can't move. But here we're going to feel great.
Yes.
Oh, wait. It cannot be a vegan meal without avocado. More's coming our way.
So we're just gonna add this to the top. I like to do my avocado on the top. Sometimes if you toss it in too early, it kind of breaks apart, which is nice because it kind of creates its own dressing. But you know, you want to let the avocado shine. So here we are, scooping out some nice chunks of avocado onto the salad, and there we have it.
So I just want to reiterate what Jess said. You could have stopped 3 ingredients ago. So if you are busy and you've got 3 kids running around the kitchen and you have no time for all this bologna, you could have done, zucchini and cucumber and mushrooms and avocado, move on.
Yeah.
You don't have time to chop the peppers and or other ingredients that are easy. Edamame, buy it in a bag, put it in, move on, feed everybody. So it doesn't have to be super hard. Okay, well, I'm certainly not going to have this cooking show and then not eat it. I'm here to eat. So we're going to move. We're going to switch our positions. I'm taking the salad and I'm going home. Would you serve, please?
Absolutely. So let's get a nice serving, get a little bit. Look at those noodles. Wow.
Oh my word, look how beautiful this is. Look how beautiful this is.
Now, zucchini noodles tend to be pretty long when you spiralize them, so you can also take a little time to just cut them in half before you serve. We'll have some like Lady in the Tramp business going on, but that's fun. That's half the fun of eating noodles.
Yes.
All right, you want any more mushrooms?
I'd like more kale. I'd like to work it in with some.
Okay.
It's at the bottom, but this is good. This will do me.
All right, let me get you a flour.
And please, a flour. Just want you to be able to see all the ingredients that we have in here. So edamame, and I got some peppers, and I got mushrooms, I got kale, I've got long spirals of cucumber and zucchini. Look at this beautiful flour. What have I missed? Oh, and my plum, my meaning on my plate, her plum
ginger clementine dressing.
Ginger, garlic.
Yes.
Plum, ginger, clementine,
garlic. Tamari's, sesame oil.
Creative chef here. That's so exciting. Okay, there's only so long I can talk about it, people. At some point I have to eat. I'm sorry. It's who I am. So I really have to say, for me, the kicker is that tamari sauce.
Yeah.
Because it's adding so much of a flavor that you wouldn't expect from a salad. That sort of hearty umami that you don't get in a salad. You don't get umami in a salad. That's awesome. I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah, you should. And that's something else I was thinking is also, if you're in a rush, like my go-to is, if I don't have a salad dressing, I'll just season my salad. I'll sprinkle on garlic powder, sea salt, smoked paprika, a little bit of soy sauce or tamari, and squeeze a lime over it. And your salad tastes like a full meal.
Right. It's so awesome. So you do lime with tamari.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm just learning so much today. This is so awesome. Okay, my handy dandy, beautiful, talented assistant Tara is now at the computer, people. So if you've got questions, send them her way. She can answer them, and maybe she's even going to throw them out to us. So Tara, just if you got a good one, send it our way. But I have questions for sure. And my first one is, when and why did you go vegan?
Absolutely. So my journey to veganism actually began in 2010. So I was fresh out of college, and I was on Netflix like a lot of 20-somethings are, watching movies, and I watched the movie Food Inc. And so that was the first film that I saw that really opened my eyes to like the realities of the food production system and what goes on behind the scenes. And
in all ways, like animals as well as people.
Animals, people, the agriculture with plants, just how it's affecting the environment, how it affects our health. So that really opened my eyes, and I was a little bit frustrated that I had never learned anything about this before. I'm 22 years old, and I don't know where my food comes from.
Right.
So, so after that, I decided that I wanted to try to eat as many organic foods as possible. And because I wasn't working yet, I was fresh out of college in 2009, so that was the economic downturn.
Yes,
so all the recent college grads are like, I need a job.
Right, what am I going to do?
Yeah, so I wanted to eat as many organic foods as I could, and I had a limited budget. And so for me, that meant focusing on eating as much fresh organic produce as I could, and automatically I was willing to sacrifice meat from my plate because it just wasn't important to me. So right from that movie, I stopped eating meat.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I still ate dairy, but I phased that out eventually. And then up until the point in early 2016 when I went completely vegan, because finally I had been learning all this information about food production system and how it affects animals' lives and how it affects the environment. And it just finally clicked for me, and I was just like, what are you waiting for? Like, just go vegan. You know, I had to tell myself that,
How long did it take you from 2010 to do that?
Well, I mean, it was a journey, and there were long periods of time, 5-6 months, where I would be eating completely plant-based.
Right.
But stresses of life.
Sure.
I would go back and forth. I worked at a really stressful job where I had to travel a lot for work. And I was also the only vegan in my office, and I spent a lot of time there. And so people would see me walking around with my giant bowls of salad, like, what are you doing? They didn't understand. And
not funny.
Yeah. And so, some of it was like feeling like I had limited options a lot of the time when I was in extreme situations. But when it was up to me and when it was my choice and I had control over my environment, I was eating vegan food. So I didn't call myself a vegan yet. But once, I feel like vegan is like when you have that awakening of your consciousness, when you realize like, this isn't right to continue to do this. And so you work around whatever inconveniences that there are, and you make the commitment to not eat animals anymore. So.
Yeah, I really feel that way. And I always say this, but if there's one thing that the election taught me recently, and I'd always, animals for me are very important, and I take that very seriously. But one thing I learned recently is that whether you are voting to the left or you are voting to the right, it does not matter. They so don't care about you, and they are not telling you the truth about your food system. And the only one that can advocate for you is you. And we have this thing called Google, and so you can research things and you find out. We're not here to tell you to go vegan. You got to figure that out for yourself. Do whatever makes sense for you. Maybe you cut meat out once a week. Maybe you never cut it out. It's totally up to you. But at least know what the gig is, because they so don't have your back. And if you want to feel better, or you have cancer in your family and you're worried about that, you got to know that bacon is a carcinogen, and that's just dangerous if you're rolling the dice because maybe you have cancer in your family or whatever the gig is, high cholesterol. Just know what you need to do to help you.
For sure. Sure. And so my initial switch was because of my awakening and getting this information, but also I had all of my grandparents, suffered from hypertension or heart disease or diabetes, high blood pressure. And so for me, and two of my grandparents actually passed away from complications of those diseases in their 50s.
Oh my gosh.
So to be an adult and think about like, that's not very far away.
Right.
And it was also choices that they were making over their lifetime, the type of food they were eating. And it was just like, you're at a very pivotal point in your life, Jessica, where you can make choices right now that will affect how you feel and how long you live. And so for me, it was also empowering and not feeling like, it's my genetics and this is how it's going to go for me. It was like, no, you're in control of this. You can make a decision today.
And the cool thing about that is I almost like to think of food as medicine. You can turn it around. That's the amazing thing. Plants will help you. And I'm talking like 3 to 5 weeks. Of course, go see a doctor. Do not listen to me. Go see a doctor and do your own research. But people turn it around. They turn cardiovascular disease around. Erectile dysfunction. Folks, it's because meat clogs your veins. It doesn't let blood get to where it wants to go. So that's erectile dysfunction. You want off erectile dysfunction drugs. Hey ho, the answer's meat. So again, figure it out for yourself.
For sure.
But only one who can advocate for you is you.
Equip yourself with information. If you really want to know something, look for real information. There's a lot of fake information. Google is an empowering place, but it's also a place where
gotta double check stuff.
There's misinformation sometimes too, but like trust your gut. Some people I feel like follow certain information because it supports their preferences or it supports things that maybe they're afraid of change, and so they want to have anything that they can use to like support whatever they're doing right now. And it's like, change is hard. Change is one of the scariest things there is. Transformation is hard work, but it's possible if you want it. So it's on you to make those decisions and be honest with yourself when you're making those choices.
So my thought about that is that, bummer as it might be, life's hard. Life is tricky. Life is pretty gosh darn tricky. So make it easier on yourself, because if you feel better physically, you end up feeling better mentally. That you can take on all that life has to offer, and we all know it. Life throws us all curveballs. It is not easy for anybody, which is why we're not sitting here preaching saying do it or do, you'll come to just do whatever works for you. But life is gosh darn hard, and you need to be physically fit just to take it on. The mental stress. I mean, how many people out there are working a 2-family? Both parents are working, and then probably somebody's driving Uber on the weekend. It's like 2.5 jobs for every family.
For sure.
It's so much stress. I don't know how people do it if they also then don't feel good.
No, it's unnecessary to pile that onto yourself. Be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself.
The message of veganism is to be kind to animals and be kind to living creatures, but you're a living creature, so you should have self-compassion as well. We do. We love you. We love animals and we love you. I'll just add to that though that I think also part of, we're also busy, right? So who wants to read all the labels, who wants to do all the Googling, and so people just kind of
do what makes sense because easy and it's fast. And they're like, oh, I'm sure this is fine. USDA told me it was good for me, so I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Along with that is, if you really knew how bad it is in factory farms for animals, I don't know. I really don't know if people would do it if they knew just how bad it is. So, there's lots of info out there. If you can stomach it, go find it. But it's bad for animals, and we pay that with our tax dollars.
Yeah.
It's all subsidized. So, powerful you is an informed you.
For
so
sure.
rock star that. Okay, so on to other stuff. So people have been asking me lately, like, well, how do I do it? Okay, so fine, go Google, and I like it, and I want to do it. Now what do I do? Help. Now what do we do? Once we decide we want to go vegan, what's next?
I would say start with what you're familiar with, especially in terms of eating. So if you like oatmeal is super easy to veganize. Use almond milk in your oatmeal. Use nut butters. There's vegan butters out there if you need butter. Use maple syrup. If for lunch, you can still eat sandwiches and wraps, but make a chickpea salad instead of a tuna salad. It's basically the same ingredients, but you buy a vegan mayo, some mustard, and you use chickpeas instead of tuna, and it's a lot less expensive than tuna.
Woohoo! Did you hear that?
Yeah,
say it again.
It's a lot less expensive. That tiny can of tuna, it costs the same as a 15-ounce can of chickpeas, so you make 3 times as much tuna. Compassionate tuna, with the
chickpeas. She's talking about
with chickpeas. Stir fry for dinner.
So awesome.
Add in tofu. There's so many amazing products out there that are also vegan meat substitutes. So if you like chicken stir fry, you can use Beyond Meat or Corn or one of those other vegan brands out there. But it's easy to start by swapping in. And then I would say, once you're feeling comfortable with making your substitutions, experiment. And a great way, I think, to experiment is to, when you can afford to, go to different global cuisine restaurants. So there's so many Asian foods that are like Thai food is delicious and it's so easy to veganize. Chinese food, Indian food is one of my favorites.
Me too.
Indian food is great too, especially even if you're not familiar with it. Many Indian restaurants have weekend buffets. So you can go to the buffet on the weekend and sample different things. They'll have chickpeas as rice, salads, samosa, pakora. And also that food is often vegetarian, so you can learn the names of different dishes, because sometimes it can be intimidating if you're not familiar with the culture. Like, I don't know what to do. This menu is intimidating to me. Find recipes with buffets, and then you can sample different things and see what flavors you like.
That's a great idea. I would just add to that, hit me up. It's Elizabeth with the YS at awesomevegans.com and hit up Jess.
Yes.
If you want to tell people.
Please do. You can tryveg.com is our website, and we have so many simple vegan recipes. We have everything from meatloaf to enchilada casserole, lasagna. So there's tons of different recipes that are all vegan, all compassionate, and definitely focused on nutrition and flavor. So there's comfort food and there's healthy food. So visit tryveg.com/recipes and you can find tons of ideas for what to eat.
Totally. And I'll add to that, hit me up, because my vegan gyros is the best on the planet. So, and there's vegan mac cheese. I make a vegan mole enchiladas that's fantastic. So you're not alone. So I would say the easiest way to start is to find a friend who's already done it. And that's us, in case you don't know anybody, or maybe it's a colleague at work or whatever. Go to somebody and be like, dudette or dude, what do you do? And then they'll guide you through it, because it's so gosh darn easy. Once you get, it's like riding a bike. Once you're on, it's no big deal. Just got to get on.
It's awesome too, because your friends and family know you. So like, for example, my mom has been eating plant-based since the beginning of the year, and she's been, pretty strong with her stuff, but she might hit a wall like, I'm getting stuck and I don't know what to eat. And I can tell her, like, Mom, I know you love curry. Get some coconut milk, get some chickpeas, simmer this with that. Like, I know what she likes to eat. And so I can give her specific suggestions based off of what I know about her and the flavors that she loves. And so it's like awesome when you know friends who know your go-to dishes, because then they can give you real pointers. It's helpful.
And I also think this is great, so you just jump right in if I got this wrong, because maybe I do. So in the African American community, you have a lot of heart disease.
For sure.
So, you might have a flavor palette if you're from the south of the United States that's different. I'm born in Chicago and now I'm in LA. That's going to be different from what I do in Chicago. So find your peeps and they'll guide you through it so that you can keep the flavors of, I mean, Southern food is lots of vegetables, isn't it? Okra, and I mean, it's all fried and you're about to fall over and die. But it's got, you know,
collard greens, okra, bell peppers, black eyed peas, red beans and rice.
Black eyed peas.
So many delicious foods. Cornbread. Cornbread can be vegan. You know, there's so many delicious soul food dishes, Southern dishes that you can easily veganize. Sweet potatoes, yams. You know,
my fave.
You can do all of that. And also, actually, it's been really fun because I've been diving into other cultural dishes of like the African diaspora. So I've been getting into Caribbean food and I've developed 4 new recipes that are Caribbean inspired that are perfect for summer. So I've been doing things with jerk seasoning, like jerk jackfruit and curry mushroom and lentil sliders. And also fricassee cauliflower and chickpeas. So these are dishes that are specific to like Caribbean restaurants that I've tasted before I was vegan, and I'm like, I miss those flavors and I want to have them again. You can veganize anything.
You can veganize anything. You can veganize anything. So all that is to say is it's just not hard. It's just not hard. And then you feel better, and often it's much cheaper and it's easy, and you feel mentally good, like I voted with my wallet and I voted one in the right place. I didn't vote for factory farms and I didn't vote for trashing the environment because I have kids and I'd like to see them inherit the planet, hopefully. You know, so you're doing yourself a favor. So it's like awesome, where you're putting your funds is exactly where it should be, which is great because we all vote with our wallets in the end. All right. So, any cooking tips for going vegan? I have that question here on my list, but I don't even know if it's no different than anything else. Just know your taste.
Know your preferences, but like I was mentioning when we were working on the recipe, that know the spices and flavors that add depth of flavor, because I think the main thing that people miss is meaty flavor. So there are ways to find meaty textures, like with mushrooms, tofu, jackfruit, but in terms of flavors, soy sauce, smoked paprika, chipotle pepper. These are all flavors that enrich and deepen the food. And then take time with your food. I often find that braising is the best way to infuse plant-based legumes and meat substitutes to their core so that it's not just good on the outside, it's good all the way through. Take your time with your cooking. Braise, marinate. Think a little bit in advance, but simple techniques. So even if you have to think 30 minutes in advance, or you're going to let it braise for 20 minutes as opposed to only sauteing it for like 10 minutes, the result will be completely different. You're going to love it. But yes, soy sauce, smoked paprika, or tamari, and chipotle peppers are my favorite go-tos when you want some depth of flavor in your food.
So I'm going to give a different tip altogether, sort of truly a life hack. So this wonderful, fantastic salad that hopefully you can see, so beautiful. What I would do is I have these Mexican tortillas that I love, and I make everything a wrap because I gotta go. I'm on the move and I gotta take my food with me because, like, let's move on, people. So I would take this gorgeous salad, I would take that Mexican tortilla or even a wrap, and I would put some of your dressing on it so that the wrap had some flavor. I'd pile this all in, I'd wrap it up, and I'd move on. So I would be like on the move, out the door, and super fast.
Okay, my last one is hummus on everything.
Everything. Oh yes, hummus. So
hummus on everything.
Hummus, people. If you take one thing away from this, it's hummus. So if there's anything that I would also say, it's also that most of you are already vegan. Who loves guacamole? Okay. Who loves hummus? Okay, so you're there. Like, you got those two down. You're there. Okay, so I got some other questions for you.
Okay.
What are your predictions for the future? So that could be about food, because there's so much going on in the future of food. That could be about food, or it could be anything else in the cooking realm or the technology. You name it. And that could be the future tomorrow or the future 10 years from now. Okay.
So, I mean, this is going to sound corny, but the future I really think is plant-based, because whatever people's reasons are for refraining from eating meat, people want to feel better.
Yes.
And to the extent that people learn about how the animal meat production industry affects their health, not only when they consume it, but the communities where these factory farms are. I mean, it's unimaginable, the things that people suffer through who live in these communities, the health issues.
There was just a $50 million lawsuit that was won by the community surrounding, I believe it's a hog farm. For sure it's a farm in North Carolina, because the farm had been polluting the air quality of those residents that they were all getting sick. $50 million bucks, boom, April of this year.
Yeah. And my direct example of that is I just did a cooking demo in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So it's a military town, and there are also lots of animal farms in North Carolina as well. And when I went to the festival, it was the first festival of their kind, there are military families everywhere. And so people have certain stereotypes, I think, about what is a vegan, but I think the identity or what a vegan looks like is changing so much. It's changing so much. So many people are drawn to it for so many different reasons. And one of my family members is in the military, and he went plant-based at the beginning of the year for very practical reasons. Well, he wasn't feeling well because he was working a lot to support his family, but also he had to make weight for military. So they have to cut weight. They have to be, they have to do their check-ins to make sure that they're healthy and that they can run fast enough. And he was able to lose 40 pounds since the beginning of the year going plant-based.
Love it. Wow.
Now, he also appreciated the ethical arguments of it, but, everybody eases in at different stages, but it's just like, this was a very pragmatic reason that he chose to adopt this lifestyle, and it's working for him. And so also his colleagues who are in the military see like, so what did you do? What are you doing to do this? And so now he's an example to all his colleagues, and they're like, oh, so awesome. I stopped eating meat. And so it's just like, this message permeates. It's undeniable when you see the results, I think.
It's undeniable when you see the results. And also when you learn some of the facts, like all the resources that go into making meat. So you're growing all of these grains.
Yeah.
Instead of eating the grains ourselves, and in the other countries where there's literally famine, we don't eat those grains. We give them to cows, which then inefficiently give us much less meat than all the grain we just gave them. So by the time you give them land and you give them water and you run the factory, you're getting like a 9-to-1 ratio. You put in 9 calories, you get 1 back. So it's a completely inefficient waste.
Absolutely.
Not to mention that I don't want to be giving my money to those factory farms.
Absolutely
That's
not.
absolutely insane.
Absolutely
so
not.
Lots of ways to get in. But okay, so the future is plant-based. I do love that. But I think most people know that. I was recently at a conference, and you were too, this last weekend, and they were saying that by 2050, no more factory farms. So definitely in our lifetime, it's going to be like smoking, basically. People are going to say, how dare you? You're ruining my air, or you're ruining my land, you're ruining my water.
Can I share one of my hopes for the future?
Oh, yeah, good.
I want vegan buffets. You know how Hometown Buffet used to be a thing, or Golden Corral, or Ryan's? I don't know. Do you know, like, you just go in with your family and they're like $13 and you can go eat any and everything. We need national vegan buffet chains. Who's watching? Who can do it? Do it, please.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that. You're right. They're new vegan buffets. Okay.
Vegan buffets.
Veggie Grill. Can't you do like vegan buffet?
Please.
Like, at least on Sundays or something. Yeah.
They have them in the UK. They're everywhere.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, UK.
Come
How
on.
we love you. Oh my word. Okay. A couple quick questions here before we head out. Do you have any pets? And if so, do you think they're any different than farm animals?
Well, I don't currently have any pets, but I work with a lovely crew of pets in my office at Compassion Over Killing.
You mean the people, or?
We have so many dogs.
Oh, okay.
Dog employees. We have a Chihuahua. We have terriers who come. We have doggy volunteers. We have Brazilian street dog there. And I don't think that they're any different from any other animal, because if you spend time with any animal, you see their personality.
Absolutely.
If you see a cow doing something silly, you're going to say, he's so funny, or he's silly, or he's sweet. If you can assign an emotion or a personality trait to any animal you spend time with, well, there you have it right there. I mean, I don't really see a difference between them. It's just how we view them in society. And most people don't have the opportunity to spend time with farm animals or other animals to form those personal connections. But I think it's important that people do find opportunities to do that, spend time at a sanctuary if they can, or volunteer places where they can. But also, beyond just the personal connection, I think it's important for people to develop a bit of objectivity, to say, just because I don't have a personal relationship with this animal doesn't mean I can't value that their lives have value, just like with other people. Like if something bad is happening to someone and you see it and you can intervene somehow and help them, I mean,
why wouldn't you?
Ideally, you would intervene on their behalf and not turn a blind eye just because you don't know them. So I think we need to adopt a more objective viewpoint about how we view animals as well.
Yeah, suffering is suffering.
Yeah.
And they feel pain and they suffer. And if you suffer, there's really no argument there.
Yeah.
Suffering is suffering, no matter who's suffering.
Yeah.
Suffering sucks.
Yeah.
And if you have the opportunity to help stop that suffering, why wouldn't you do it? It's funny, there's this dog festival going on in China right now, where they round up dogs and they eat them, usually because it's a festival for them, there's a series of beatings and there's a whole ritual around it, and people are outraged that anybody would torture systematically dogs for eating. But we torture systematically pigs for eating, and they're so much more intelligent and more community oriented even than dogs. So just it's a mad world. It's one of the great things about vegan. It makes so much gosh darn sense in all the ways that you just feel like, woo, I don't have to think about that stuff anymore because thank God I'm vegan. All right. So do you feel that you have a purpose in life? And if so, what is it?
That's such a big question.
It's a huge question. Huge. I know. Yeah.
I do. I do. I think it's broad, and that is to just educate people. I think that takes on different forms, but I think I'm naturally someone who is an educator of people, not in the traditional school sense, but I really get joy from showing people or helping people have breakthroughs and epiphanies and just like ushering them through journeys to get from point A to point B. It's really fulfilling for me when I can talk with somebody who might be frustrating or something, and then at the end maybe they have a little bit more clarity, not because I gave them the answer, but because maybe I could ask them some questions or help them get a little perspective so that they could see their own situation a little differently. So I think it's awesome that actually I'm able to do the work that I'm doing now. I kind of like stumbled into it in the most amazing way.
Yeah, how did you stumble into this?
So I started off at Compassion Over Killing at the end of 2016 as the office manager. I had been working in higher education for 5 years, and it was really rewarding work, but I didn't see myself continuing on in that field. And also I just felt like the higher education work was all about like helping low income people achieve a higher quality of living through higher education. And so I saw that was a valuable and very valid thing to work for. But I also felt like there's so many aspects of life that you need to enhance as well in order to attain a higher quality of life. So if you work hard, you go to college, you raise your family, you buy a house, and then when you're 65 years old, you start suffering from the same diseases that you would have suffered from anyway because you're making certain lifestyle choices because, you just never knew the information. Of course you have your great memories, but your life could be extended so much longer.
Right, yeah.
So I felt called to move into the space where I could help people, just give them more understanding about like, possibilities are limitless. I believe in limitless possibilities in a lot of ways. So
that's awesome.
So I started off as Compassion Over Killing's office manager, and then during Veggie Week, I offered that, actually I make recipe videos on YouTube. They're not that good, but if that might be something that you might like for Veggie Week, I'd love to make some. And so they took me up on it, and I made 12 recipe videos that first year in a matter of 2 weeks. It was really intense. And then new opportunities just kept arising for me to share my recipes with people and talk to people about the value of plant-based eating and how it can truly enhance their quality of life in the long run. So it's been great.
Wonderful. That is so awesome. Okay, so I just have a couple quick chef questions for you, which is interesting because you didn't really start out as a chef.
No, not at all.
So I think that also tells you it's not hard. So she didn't study or go through any specific program, or there's nothing really that makes Jess any different than you. So you can toy around in the kitchen and have a lot of fun and a lot of healthy options. So, as a new coming chef, we'll say, what item are we always going to find in your fridge?
You're always going to find sesame oil in my fridge.
Awesome. I love it.
Yes.
That's great. People usually say onions, so I like that. You're always going to find sesame oil. Okay, and what is your go-to meal? You're super busy. You don't have a lot of time. You're always going to make it, and every time you make it, it's great.
My go-to meal is roasted sweet potato, just plain roasted sweet potato, and then sauteed greens, leafy greens, broccoli with lots and lots of garlic and smoked paprika, and then a legume like black beans, more than likely black beans with lots of garlic. And I just kind of layer them, and so it's like a loaded roasted sweet potato. It's so good.
So I do the exact same thing without the greens. Now I'm going to add in the greens, and then of course I put it on my wrap. I put it on my tortilla. I take it to go.
Yeah. I love to eat out of a bowl all the time. So you find me with a bowl and a spoon, and I'm living my best life.
I love to have something in my hand all the time. It's so very funny. Okay, and what is your favorite snack now? Could be healthy or it could be junk food.
Oh goodness.
I know.
I love snacks.
Me too.
Well, my coworker Robin makes amazing cupcakes, but if I can't get those, I love mixed nuts like cashews.
Yeah.
Any type of cinnamon cashews, chili lime cashews. Cashews are really good.
That's so good for you too. Okay, and then one more cooking question. So what, because you are a chef, so what is the meal that everybody should know how to make? Like everybody should have this meal under their belt.
Everybody should know how to make vegan lasagna.
Oh!
It's simple and it's customizable.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can do like with a vegan ricotta and spinach, but sometimes you can go straight veggies. You can get so many vegetables into lasagna: mushrooms, zucchini, asparagus.
And then do people have to make their own cheese, or you can buy, is there cheese you'd recommend, or vegan cheese?
Vegan cheese, so on the more expensive side, I really like tree lines herb cheese. It's so delicious. Also, Miyoko's.
And you can cook with that?
Yeah.
With tree line? I didn't realize you could cook with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually I made lasagna rolls, and I basically crumbled tofu and mixed the tree line in with it, and it was basically like a perfect ricotta dupe.
I'm getting that recipe.
Yeah.
Okay, so give us your information again, because you want to hit up Jess.
Hit up Jess at tryveg.com, and you can find all the recipes at tryveg.com/recipes.
I know to all my gal pals out there who are also watching, and they're like, help me, what do I do? So you can always hit me up, Elizabeth, ELYSABETH, at awesomevegans.com. Of course, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram TV is coming. Oh my God. Okay, so yes, you can find us both at all those places, but definitely reach out to us. You want to start, we will get you started.
Oh yeah, and if you want to see what I'm eating on a regular basis, you can find me on Instagram at lovevegansoul. It's at love.vegan.soul.
At love.vegan.soul. And of course, we're here because we love Compassion Over Killing. So they are on Instagram at COK, I believe. And of course on Facebook. And they're just a fantastic organization, tryveg.com.
Yes.
And so my last question for you as we head out the door here is, what do you wish you knew 10 years ago that you know now? I love this question.
I wish I knew that I was going to be a vegan, because I would have done it so long ago. It just wasn't a concept that I was familiar with 10 years ago. And I feel like I could have been so much further along with helping other people learn about veganism too.
Yeah. So I think the thing that I wish I knew 10 years ago is that I really have to advocate for myself. And there's no looking at labels and going like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
0 trans fats, I believe them, or whatever. I mean, I don't even look at the marketing slogans anymore that say no trans fats or not. I look at the ingredients, and if it has more than 5 ingredients, I don't want it.
Yeah.
So I just try to keep it simple.
Yeah,
so
that's
I don't
good.
know. Well, okay, everybody. Hopefully you can make this salad at home. It's so super easy. You saw Jess do it. So be sure to subscribe. Follow me on Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Elizabeth Alfano, where you can see this video. It's going to be out in a couple weeks. And of course, like Jess said, you can find us both on Instagram and Twitter and then the whole bit. I'm Elizabeth Alfano. I want to thank Jess Carter for coming to my kitchen and for cooking to me, for me and with me and in my kitchen. And to all you guys who, I know you're going to hit us up, so go right ahead. Until you do that, I just want to say, don't forget to be vegan. Bye.
Bye.